Every man's worst fear. I wish to God this was a skit, but it's not. Let's let it play.
All right, the doctor walks in and tells me I'm in good health, but I'm sterile. I'm like, what are you talking about I'm sterile? I got 3 kids. I don't make no damn sense to me. I don't understand I'm sterile. I don't know. It blows my mind. You know, I got 3 kids. One's 15, one's 12, one's 7. So I'm like, I don't understand that. So anyway, I go home and I just start thinking, it's got to be my kids. But I started thinking about the fact that every time we watch, like those Ancestry.com commercials, they come on and my wife kind of always turns the channel. I'm like, why you always turn it? I notice you always turn the channel. She's like, those are stupid. They don't even work. And I'm like, anyway, I started really thinking, I'm like, if I'm sterile, and the doctor said I've always been sterile. It's not like something that, it's always been genetically since I was born. I started thinking, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go ahead and get these kids tested. You know, I really didn't want to. I wanted to believe that my wife wouldn't do this to me, but I have to get my kids tested. So I secretly get a little sample of all of them. I go to the damn, the Ancestry.com place or whatever. And anyway, get them tested. Then I think about this. My wife got a birthday coming up. We got to throw this big birthday bash. We already been planned on it. So, basically I got the whole birthday bash planned. And then basically what happens is I get all of our families there, birthday bash. I get the popular mixologist in town. Chief of police comes because he works with my wife sometimes at our company. So chief of police, this whole big thing, because I want to make a big splash. It's her birthday, you see? So what ends up happening at a certain point, we bring the big birthday cake out. You know those big birthday cakes you see on the movies? Got one of those big ones. And then I had a woman come out and she held up the sign and said, "You lying bee." And it blew everyone's mind. It blew her mind. What is this about? What is this about? And I was like, you know what? No, what this is about? It's about the fact that this mixologist is his son. Hey, let meet your daddy right here. I straight up had to tell him, this is your dad. Chief of police, hey, this is your... So 15-year-old mixologist, that's his daddy. Chief police, 12-year-old, that's his daddy. And I was hurt. I was so hurt. I decided I just had to sleep in my car, man. I couldn't be in this house. I couldn't be around her. Just all these lies. I've been raising these kids for 15 years. There's no way they're mine. They're not. I'm sterile. So basically I just, I'm in my car, sleeping in my car, going to work, doing the normal thing I do. And I just was, running into different issues and felt the need that I needed to go. I really needed to go back to church. I just really wanted to do that. And was getting some good, like the preacher and a lot of different people giving me some good advice and some good guidance, kind of helping me to understand that, it's not the kids' fault. You've been there for the kids, And, then I start finding out there's some problems. Kids are having problems in school because their dad's not there. They're used to having their dad for 15 years. I haven't been there, So I start going back, being there for my kids and everything like that or whatever. But I have to let her know. I'm like, I don't know if we can work this out. I don't know. Possibly, but I'm here for my kids. I'm going to try to be here for my kids because I feel like it's the right thing to do. It's what God wants me to do, and I think it's the best thing to do. So that's what I decided to do. Later on, and find out, because I have a 7-year-old. We didn't know who his dad was. So basically, after a certain amount of time with the Ancestry.com, like other people will get tested and everything like that or whatever. And then I got an alert from the email alert. And I'm like, really? So we kind of find out that it's this NBA Hall of Famers. I'm like, I was tripping. I'm like, this can't be the case. I go and ask her, I'm like, who's his dad? She's like, yes, that's his. I'm like, because my son, my son, he could ball. He could ball. And I ain't got no athletic skills, But, the thing is, me and my wife are still trying to work things out. I moved back in, but we ain't in the same room. Luckily we have multiple rooms. I'm there for my kids, even though they're not my kids, but they are my kids. I'm there for my kids. I'm the only father they know. So I've been doing the best that I can with this whole situation.
One thing I'm not gonna do.
this story is extremely tough as a man, because you think about being married for 15 years, having 3 kids, thinking that it was his, right? It turns out when he took the DNA test, well, at first he said he was on Ancestry, and she don't want to deal with no Ancestry mess. And then all of a sudden, you took the DNA test and tested these 3 kids, and it turns out all 3 of the kids wasn't his. And then, and he said he was gonna work things out with his wife, and then, try to do the best he can to raise these kids, because the kids think that he's the only father, he's the only child that he knows. It's, when you think about it, and most men in situations like this, it happens all the time. And I did not a lot of stories, but I did some stories about the situations that happened before. And, paternity fraud need to be addressed. I mean, it really need to be addressed, because you got men right now that are in jail. Some didn't even pay child support for children that's not even his, right? And the court system is always sides to women who has children, because they're gonna say, well, he ain't there for the child, and blah 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 blah. But turns out that the DNA test proved that that's not his child in the first place, but the court still forcing a man to pay child support of a child that's not even his. And it happens. But picture a man who was married to this woman for 15 years, had 3 kids by this woman, right? And then he got this gut feeling that these 3 kids not even his. And when he took the DNA test, and it proven that he's right, that the kids isn't his, and then he doesn't even know how to, tell his wife at the time, or so he, as you can see in the video, that he created this birthday bash for her with the cakes and the family get together and everything else, and say you lying B, But the reality, and then he still had to figure out, try to work out with his wife and the 3 kids that, again, he said that the kids, he's the only father that, that they know. And this is an important thing for Father's Day to see this video. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna just get this, reality check real quick. I know it's hard, but the 3 kids, it is really hard. It is really hard for a man to go through this, right? But I'm just gonna keep it real. The 3 kids, maybe, but brother, the wife, you gotta let her go. I'm just keeping it real. You gotta let her go, because it's like she's been disrespectful to you, especially in the marriage. Like that, y'all married for 15 years, and thinking that the 3 kids were yours. It turns out it wasn't. All 3 of them wasn't, and it was proven that she's been cheating on you during your marriage. And I've been hearing stories about, when some men find out the baby wasn't his, it breaks their hearts. One has died, I believe, because of a heart attack, because he found out that the child wasn't even his, from his wife. Another incident, and the brother was married. I think I did a story on this one. The brother was married, and and a girl all of a sudden told me, well, the baby is yours, blah, blah, blah. It turns out it wasn't his, but the court system still forces this man to pay child support of a child that is not his. This is what men go through all the time. And the criminal justice system, who protects women and their children, are going to side with them because there's kids involved and they need support. But the reality is that when is the time that men, and proven to a DNA test that the child wasn't his, and the court system still sided the mother? This is why two things are important. Excuse me. This is why two things are important. They need to make DNA tests, when it comes to paternity, mandatory. That's number one. Number two, they need Congress or senators need to create laws dealing with, paternity fraud, because those mainly is important. This is why guys go to jail or go to prisons, because they felt like their rights have been violated because they're proving that they took the DNA test of the child, proving that the child wasn't his, and still the court still sided with the mother. That has to stop. They need to get two things in place. Plus the DNA test, make it mandatory. Also, if the woman create paternity fraud, lock her up, arrested her, put her in jail, put her in a criminal population, because at the end of the day, men is going to be suffering the most because, damn, the child's not mine. I still got to pay child support because the court forced me to. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And this brother right here got to go through all of this. He has to work out with his wife, let alone take care of the 3 kids that's not even his. Wow, it's crazy. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next video. This is Langston signing off. Deuces.